G'day guys, today we have a 10-tip video on things you should know before you get into Lord of the Rings Rise to War. Let's get to it. G'day guys, yes, Sanja's back. And we're on episode 10 now, so we're doing really well. For the first number one part of the video, I wanted to talk about special units. Now, for my faction, the Lothlorien Elves, we do have we do have four main special units, and those are the Ents, the Beornings, the Eagles, and we also have the Hobbits. Now, when you have a look at the map, let's go to the map. So, the first point here is the Ents. So, the Ents, yes, they do have quite a bit of power. They do have a lot of damage, a lot of HP, a lot of defense, which is really good, as well as siege is crazy. And then you do have back to the map, and you go to this point here, and you can also find your Beornings, which basically go on them. They have really good HP, really good defense and attack. Siege is not as big as the Ents, but they are still really good units. And then you have the Eagles. Now, if you want to find all these, usually they do appear on the Misty Mountains, but that is if you do also have a look. These animations of Eagles also do appear, which is really good as well. Now, the last unit that I do, that I just sort of wandered upon, I walked upon, is pretty much the Hobbits. Now, if we do have a look at the Shire we do not own it, but if we go to my marker, let's go here. Now, Hobbits are also a special unit. Now, I haven't got Hobbits yet. I have never tried them. I've heard they're not bad. They're pretty good against other beasts. Their stats don't look crazy, but I've heard you can have a lot of them in your unit. So units per command, maybe 100. I'm not sure. If we do have a look at their abilities, healing received, 2 more units recovered into wounded soldiers. You guys read that. But this is basically the special units that you can have, as well as for the other factions they do have their special units. But this is just for us. So yep, that's tip number 1. Okay, for part number 2, I wanted to talk about commanders. So, people have been asking, how do you level up your commanders so quickly in certain things? So, this is sort of like an idea that that I use, a way it's like a guide of what I do when I have commanders at a low level, and I want them to reach up to somewhat where my highest commander is. So basically, if we do look, let's go to it. Okay, so we got the keep. So basically, if you do have a look around, there are three ways that you can level, 3 or 4 ways you can level up your commander. So the first way is, you can use the mock battles. Now, mock battles are really good, or I would say fast XP without being able to take a lot of tiles. A real good tip is use your highest level tile, because using your highest level tile, you do get more XP. So if we wanted to use this Haldir, see he's 245. If we use a low level tile, mock battles, click on him, you don't get the same. So what you should try and do, try and see if you can cap high tier tiles and use your commanders if you want to level them up fast. That is one way. Now, number 2, there is also the tavern tips. Tavern tips are really good. They do require sometimes 2 or 1. I've only seen 2 or 1. I also think you might be able to have a 3. I'm not sure yet, but you can get 20,000, 10,000. Sometimes it's 30,000. Then you also get parts of extra commanders, so respect, which is really good as well. Okay, so the last part is, just the normal taking your average tile as well. You can take your average tile, so depending on what level you are and what you can take. Usually these normal tiles, like level 25 to 28, they do give a lot of XP, and they are pretty quick, but they do take a lot of stamina, so that is also one way you can gain up your XP. I probably would prefer mock battles in a later game, if you got high level tiles, but if you don't, use your stamina on the highest level tile that you can get, as well as there are a few of these what do you say, these mobs that you can do, the defense, they don't really give that much stamina, but they do give a little bit. But yeah, those are the main ways that I can level up my commander. So yeah. Okay guys, so for part number 3, I wanted to talk about tier 4 units. Now, a lot of people don't realize at the very beginning, but depending on what faction you are in, so if it's elves, is it dwarves, or Rohan, Gondor, or even the evil factions, Agmar, um, Isengard as well. You can't, depending what faction that you are in, you can only get tier 4 units for that certain faction that you're in. If you want tier 4 units for your other factions that you do not have, you can't get them. Which does suck, it does really. I wish I could get some, tier 4 units on other factions, but this is, I guess, the limit of the game. And if you choose that faction, you get a bit of a, how do you say, a bit of extra benefit for using that faction. So that's one really big thing there. So elves get the March Warden, dwarves get the the tier 4 units for, I think they're called, if we do have a look, the Iron Warriors, yep. And then also the men, they get, hang on, let's go to the men, they get the Swan Knight as well. So, as well as the, for Rohan, they get the Marshal. So, yeah, these tier 4 units, they are really good. And for, the opposition side, they do get really good tier 4 units. So, yeah. Okay, guys, so tip number 4. So, basically, a lot of people did ask how long the seasons go for. So, for the first season, for the seasons, they go for roughly about 2 months. And in these 2 months, what the creators sort of, in my opinion, what they've decided is the first month that you've got to build up all your buildings, to the max level that you can. And then the last month, there's usually a little bit more building of your armies and more wars. And it's sort of that final last few weeks to figure out who's the strongest faction. So yeah, that's pretty much for the seasons. Okay, so for part number 5, I wanted to talk about AI units. Now, AI units are really ferocious, I'll tell you. They do not care about anything with treaties or anything like that. They will attack you if you are near them or you start to attack them. Now, for the AI units in my server, it's Agmar and it's Run. But these two basically, it depends on the time and how many keeps they have. If they have more keeps, they're they're a lot stronger and they start attacking more. And then, if they start withering away, you take their keeps, they start to lose strength. As well as when you start to take the last one, if you have a look from how we are going right now, we're taking Agmar, they start to pile up into their main center part, and then they go from there. So yeah, that's pretty much for the AI units, guys. Okay, guys, so for part 6 of this video, I wanted to talk about crossings. Now, you might be wondering, how do you actually cross these rivers? Now, people do say, you might be able to travel across, but no, basically how you do cross across rivers is you'll find on the map, if you go to the map, you can see all these different types of the anchors, and these anchors are classified as crossings. Now, if you do go to a crossing, pretty much how it starts off is no one's here, it's neutral. And then you take this one spot. So there's 2 armies at a level 17 for defense, and then you got to take from the 1 million down to the 0, and then you capture it. Now, this is not it. Once you do capture this part, you've also got to capture the other side as well. So you've got to do that twice before you're able to get onto the other side. Now you think, oh, maybe I might capture this and then I can just go here. No, you can't. So what you've got to do, capture these both, and then you can travel the the opposite side of the of that land. So yeah, that's basically crossings, guys. Okay, so for part number 7, I wanted to talk about keeps. Now, keeps are all over the map. Every faction has their own keeps, as well as, they've got their own main buildings. So their own, if you go to this, they've got their own special buildings. So each of the keeps and the special buildings have different power. So after a certain amount of time, when your server is beginning, you won't get that power when you do get your keeps at the beginning. But after some time, once, I think if you go to I'm pretty sure if you go to one of the quests, if you check here, see once you do get the 40 regions control the whole server, you also do get the power from each one that your faction has conquered. So basically, for us, it depends on how, each keep is different. Some special keeps do have 1,000, some do have 600. The main ones might have, this much. They're all different. All of them give certain power, and this power is distributed between all of the guys in that faction. And it's pretty much added towards yours. So yeah, that's pretty much keeps, guys. Okay, so for tip number 8, I wanted to talk about the dominance in the center of the ring. So for the ring power on the center of the ring, it goes up by 10. Later in the levels, it'll go up. I think it's 20. I'm on 100 right now. It was at 90, and then it goes to 110. So it switches around, and you do get tiles out of this. Now each tile, I think, if I can't really remember, but you do get a certain amount of tiles when you do start off, and every time you do upgrade your center point, is your dominance, you do get more tiles, and this is also really good. You can get more resources, get more power, and, your power can go up and your resources can go up. So yeah, that's just a little bit about what you should do when you do have your ring power. You need to make sure that you do level this dominance part up, because you get more tiles. Who doesn't love more tiles, but yeah. Okay, for part number 9, I want to talk about the Manthem coins. Now the coins you do get every single 24 hours, you do get 1 coin, and these coins you can use for, depending on all the Manthem chests that are available. So when you start off, you might get the Fellowship of the Ring, the Elven Chant, and the Rare Treasures. I'm not sure if it's different for other factions, especially the evil side, but you do get these as well. It's your choice where you want to put your Manthem coins to. So out of these, you do get 1 at the very beginning. I've used mine, and then it depends on how many you do get, and then you get Exquisite Gift, which is a rare. Sometimes you do get a legendary, but that's how it goes. So yeah, that's the Manthem. Okay, for the number 10, last part of the video, I wanted to talk about the trading. Now the market is something that a lot of players actually don't use. So if you want to get to it, you pretty much go from your main city and go enter, and then you go to your market. So the market has 2 things that you can use. So you've got the merchant, and then you've got the barter. So the merchant, you can pretty much trade your resources for other resources, or you can trade your gems for the actual, for the speed ups. Now, I don't recommend using these speed ups, depending on, if it's your choice, but I do recommend sometimes maybe using your gold for more stone or certain resources, because, sometimes you do need those extra resources, as well as, you can trade certain materials for the other materials, and then you can get it back. So if you do have a look, takes this for 250k, but also this gives you if you can put in stone for more, 250k, and this for, you can trade all of this, get more of that to get more wood. So it sort of trades around a little bit, but that's how you basically use the market, guys. And then for barter, they are a bit unfair prices. They don't really it's not really even from what you're getting. It's a bit outrageous, 350k for 250k grain, not really worth it. But that's pretty much the market, guys. So yeah, okay guys, that wraps it up. That is pretty much 10 things that you do need to sort of know when you get into the game of Lord of the Rings Rise to War. If you guys did like it, please leave a comment. Maybe like it if you did, and also hit that subscribe and bell button if you guys want to watch my my videos coming out. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. I'll catch you later.